Yo, what's going on, kings, queens, and phenomenal beings? This is what felons need to know about the word felon. I'm going to do a series giving you free information, free game, so that you can go from felon to phenomenal in your own life. And I have to title it felon because, as far as society is concerned, all these new terms of criminal justice impacted and uh, formerly incarcerated, just terms that don't label us, are not in the forefront. So I want to get this out to the people who need it. So I'm gonna have to use the terminology that that society uses. However, I want you to know that that is a label and limitation that society wants to put on you. It is something that you did. It is not who you are. So be prepared to start putting that in your mind so you can fully make the transition and go from felon to phenomenal.
All right, man. So, what felons need to know about getting a job, re-entering the workforce, or getting a job for the first time? Uh, Most of us know that getting a job is the number one obstacle of re-entry, and that's more on the terms of getting something that's gonna take care of you financially with stability, insurance, and all those things. And initially the foundation is about getting into the groove, getting uh committed and being disciplined about working and dealing with all that comes with that. I've been on probation twice in my life, and I also have a degree in chemistry. So that second time of being on probation was definitely life changing. The first time I was young, you kind of chalked it up as youthful mistakes, but that second time around, I was at an age where people kind of assumed you should have it together, and society was less forgiving. So yeah, I have a degree in chemistry. I was working in the oil and gas industry at the time, trying to get back into that, and it that didn't work. So shoot, I was outside taking a lunch break on my journey of getting back into the workforce, trying to get a job, and I saw a sign at a Goodwill Center hiring a donation center, and I was like, man, forget it. I need a job. I need some income. I can't keep leaning on my friends and family, and my money had ran out. So what you need to know about getting a job is humble thyself. There is no way you should think you're too good to do anything. There are jobs that will initially take you despite your background. That's the restaurant industry. I got on at Goodwill, which specializes with people who have barriers to employment. The first thing you want to do is get in the groove of working and taking care of yourself and being in that process of earning your own keep. So yeah, man, humble thyself. You ain't too good, man. And don't be too good and think you too good, because if that was the case, this would not be your journey. This would not be your issue. So there are some things that we all have to work on so that we can get to the next level. All right, man. So what felons need to know about having support, having a support system? Even though we know that it is extremely helpful, it is not necessary for you to start, and it is in no need for you to be getting into relationships, specifically romantic relationships, because you're combating loneliness, because you lack self-confidence, because you lack self-worth, because you would not be able to give yourself or give your all in that relationship because you got some work to do. So you may not have support in the beginning. You definitely will. You can join Felon to Phenomenal. We are a support group for those re-entering society after prison, probation, and parole. And as you begin to make progress, as you grow, as you achieve, as you show that you are no longer that person that you used to be, as people can see you pushing your car rather than just sitting on the side of the road with your hood pop. When somebody see you pushing your car, 9 times out of 10 somebody will help you. So that support will come as you put your feet to the ground, and as you make progress, and as you prove to yourself that you are ready to go from felon to phenomenal. So please don't get caught up in the lack thereof or not having support in the beginning, because if you do what you need to do, you will get the support that you need. And also, Felon to Phenomenal is always willing to help and support you at whatever level you are. You just have to commit to the journey. That's it, man. All right, man. So, what felons need to know about action, taking action? Just as you were willing to commit to the crime, willing to commit to protect someone, willing to commit to take what you needed because you thought it was necessary, you need to be willing to hop on these Monday night calls. You need to be willing to get up and have these hard conversations and do the work and really put forth the effort and invest in yourself so you can go from felon to phenomenal. Like, just as you had courage to do that, you need to have courage in this next chapter in your life. And ain't nobody finna be knocking down your door. Ain't nobody finna be reminding you you got this meeting or you should come to this, you come to that. I'm gonna tell you a couple of times. But just as I got people that come week to week to get this information, inspiration, and resources and be a part of a support group on this journey, because I'm gonna tell you this, life is not easy. And then plus we make decisions that make it even harder. So it's like you gotta be about that action, just as you would, just as if somebody step on your shoe, just as somebody disrespect you, just as somebody hurt your feelings or your family, you be ready to jump down their throat. You need to have that same energy to get your life back on track and to overcome these obstacles. And the biggest one is you. You got 99 problems, and the biggest one is you. Let's go, baby. Game time. So when I was younger, and I'm talking about elementary age, when they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I remember specifically what I said. I wanted to be a doctor, and not just a doctor, a pediatrician. And not just a pediatrician. I wanted to be a pediatrician that specialized in brain deficiencies, because the mind and the way the differences in us as people always shocked me as something very interested. And also, I wanted to, heal and provide for those people who are born with brain deficiencies and things like that. But as time goes on, I experienced life and went to school and wasn't giving my all and realized how much school it took. That kind of changed the course of my life. I did go to school and get a degree in chemistry. I love science, but I also later on in life came across a guy. He was giving a speech or a lecture, and I can't remember, but he was like, just because you didn't become what you wanted to when you were younger doesn't mean that there is not a version of what you wanted to do that is possible for you. And let me break that down simpler what that means. So since I wanted to be someone, a doctor that specializes in the brain, even though I didn't make that dream come true. Now I've been coined as a mindset coach. I understand that the mind is very powerful and that the mind is very complex and that we have control over our minds. So I ask you, what did you want to become when you were younger? Was that something that was truly in you, or you felt like you needed to say that? And also now, is there a version of that that you could still do now? Because no, I didn't become a pediatrician. No, I didn't become a surgeon that specializes in brain deficiency, but I am a mindset coach and I understand that the brain is complex. And just as there's a quote that says, if you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you're also right. That's how powerful the mind is. And that's why I get up here and share information with you all today, because you have the opportunity to take control of your life, be the CEO of your life, go from felon to phenomenal. These challenges are not impossible. Are they hard? Yes, but they are not impossible. So again, I reach out to you. You can join my Monday night momentum calls where we give information, inspiration, and resources on your journey from felon to phenomenal to overcome the obstacles of reentry and ultimately change your life and go from felon to phenomenal. Peace. All right. So, what felons need to know about obstacles? So, in life, things that happen, obstacles, things that hinder your progress, follow the three categories. One is environmental. You have no control over that. You don't know what's going to happen day to day out in the world, out in the external. You got personal. That's all what you got inside of you. Your limiting belief, your debilitating emotions, your perspective, your attitude. Then you got social. These are interactions that you have with people, and you play a part in that. So you have some type of control in the aspect, and not in control as in knowing the outcome, but how you interact and how you operate. Managing yourself to where you're not reacting but responding. So with those three categories in life, and obstacles fall under that. If you really think about your life and why you aren't where you are, you can't count the external. And so the other two is either personal or social, and you play a role in both. So at this point in time, man, it's time to check yourself. It's time to get off of autopilot and time to be intentional and change the things that we want to change, adjust where adjustments are needed, and become the best versions of ourselves to have the life that we want to live. It that's it. And so check it. So this is why I don't like to comment and engage with people on social media, just because where I am in life, and just because you have X amount of followers, people think themselves that they know everything and are not watchful and mindful of what they say. Okay, so yesterday I had an interaction with the DJ. Now, as far as social media is concerned, I rock with Boy because he gives some good advice and some tips, and I like his style and whatnot. But this particular day, he was giving a review of a DJ board, and mind you, it's considered to be somewhat of an entry level board. It's entry level because it's less intricate. Not that in the description on the sales page does it say beginner. It describes it as a professional board. But yes, it is intro as far as the buttons, woo-ha, all this. He goes and puts forth a statement saying this is something only for your home, which is crazy because I use the board to travel as a traveling DJ, and the information that he was giving out would deter somebody from taking on a gig outside of their home just because they have that particular board. And I work with sound engineers and venues that have quality sound systems, and that comment and how we proceeded to engage let me know he only does clubs, because a club system is not always compatible with all different types of boards. And you will plug up your board and think that your board is trash when ultimately it's the sound system that doesn't support it. And so watch what you say in deterring people and making statements as far as the difference in information. And that's the statement of what I want felons to know. Understand the difference in information. Understand the difference between fact, which is objective, and opinion, which is subjective. He took his own personal experiences and made it a fact, which will possibly deter somebody from taking their career further because they have this entry level board, this beginner board that should only be used at home, which I travel all over the United States and have some good times and good vibes and work with elite sound engineers who make that sound quality pop. So be mindful of the information that people are putting out there, and the limitations that they put on their statements because they've only experienced certain things. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. All right. So what felons need to know about felon to phenomenon and community? So there's a study that happened in a university, and there was a professor, and he is notoriously known for students failing his class. But as always, certain demographics failed at a higher rate than others. So he didn't decide or agree with everybody else saying that, oh, well, just certain demographics just may not do well in your course. He decided to study the demographic that was struggling the most, which was the Black community, in comparison to the Asian students in his class. So he followed the Black student and got an understanding that African American students studied more than the Asian students, but they studied alone. The successful Asian students studied in community, they studied in group. So, therefore, you have an opportunity for community learning, for shared ideas, for someone who doesn't understand something to explain something to someone else, and vice versa. So in Felon to Phenomenal, you gain a sense of community, a sense of support, and also not be limited by your own thoughts and beliefs and limitations. Because think about it. What you think, what you believe, who you are has gotten you to this point. And if you think you're going to get out of it, you think you're going to be able to use those resources, you need new connections, you need new information, and you need new people in your life. So come join Felon to Phenomenal and start your journey. All right, so what felons need to know about felon to phenomenal and community? So there's this study that happened in a university, and there was a professor, and he is notoriously known for students failing his class. But as always, certain demographics failed at a higher rate than others. So he didn't decide or agree with everybody else saying that, oh, well, just certain demographics just may not do well in your course. He decided to study the demographic that was struggling the most, which was the Black community, in comparison to the Asian students in his class. So he followed the Black students and got an understanding that African American students studied more than the Asian students, but they studied alone. The successful Asian students studied in community, they studied in group. So, therefore, you have an opportunity for community learning, for shared ideas, for someone who doesn't understand something to explain something to someone else, and vice versa. So, in Felon to Phenomenal, you gain a sense of community, a sense of support, and also not be limited by your own thoughts and beliefs and limitations. Because think about it. What you think, what you believe, who you are has gotten you to this point. And if you think you're going to get out of it, you think you're going to be able to use those resources, you need new connections, you need new information, and you need new people in your life. So come join Felon to Phenomenal and start your journey. All right. So, what felons need to know about life? Um, so, basically, there are two lives that we all have. We have the one that we live, which is filled with a lot of settling, a lot of doubt, a lot of procrastination. And then we have the lives that we dream about, the lives that we imagine, and the fact that it's in our head is capable. Everything around us was once just a thought, and it had to be actualized to become a real life thing. So if you can think it, you can have it. I hate to sound like a, a Saturday morning uh, educational uh, message, but the fact it remains. If you can think it, you can have it. You can have at least some version of it because we always have to be realistic with ourselves. So look, at Fell into Phenomenal with Coach T, man, I can help you. For those of you who have lost, I can help you figure out where you are and where you're trying to go. And those of you who are not lost, like you know where you are, you're honest with yourself, and you have a destination, I can help you devise a plan. So man, connect with me. Join me on Mondays free on Zoom with the Felon to Phenomenal community, where we give you information, inspiration, and practical steps so you can go from felon to phenomenal. All right.